Well, good morning and welcome to the show. Jeff Beals here at your service, broadcasting live from the KFEB studios high above Underwood Avenue in beautiful downtown Dundee. This is the only show in the metro area that talks about real estate and construction, economic development, really anything related to Omaha becoming more vibrant, more prosperous, and a better place to live, work, and play. We are brought to you, as always, by our two title sponsors. They are Dingman's Collision Center, Best of Omaha Award winner with multiple Omaha area locations, taking care of all your auto body needs, and Cheer Athletics, the nation's #1 all-star cheer gym. The Omaha location is one of only 17 in the world, located in beautiful Papillion, really close to highways 50 and 370. Going to bring on my guest co-host today. It is a familiar name and a familiar voice. Brad Williams is in, substituting for Trenton Magid, who is taking the weekend off. Brad, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me. I always enjoy it.
Yeah, well, you do such a great job with us, and a lot of people know that you are a photographer of high reputation here in Omaha. You have a lot of your work that is displayed on various Grow Omaha platforms. And your day job, you are with E&A Consulting, civil engineering firm based in the Old Mill area. So, Brad, good week as always. A lot happening. We're busy as can be.
You know, when we have a really good spring or a really good fall in Omaha, it is one of the best places to be. And right now, I say we're in the middle of one of those really good falls. It's just beautiful out there this morning.
And the other thing is, for the last several years, fall has been nicer than usual and longer than usual. I hope this happens again, but for the last several years, fall stretches almost all the way, definitely past Thanksgiving, and a lot of times pretty close to Christmas. So I'm hoping for that again.
Yeah, I'm on board with you there.
Hey, I want to let everyone know the Omaha Streetcar Organization is with the city of Omaha doing a streetcar brand and logo design survey, and they're asking local people to take about 7 minutes to complete it. It is open through this Tuesday, October 7th. The survey is available at omahastreetcar.org. And then the actual brand and the logo will be unveiled at the end of the year. Responses are anonymous, which means you can say anything. But omahastreetcar.org, they want to get your opinion. So without any further ado, Brad and I are going to go into the news of the day, the news of the week, really. It's brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. They are located in person at 114th and Davenport, just south of 114th and Dodge. Whether you see them virtually or personally, they will help you get your piece of the American dream. Eagle Mortgage is a mortgage broker, which means they're not a bank. They're not beholden to one bank. They work with a variety of banks. They match you with the right bank for you when you are ready to go get a home loan. FHA, VA, conventional loans, specialty loans. They do a lot, and they have a great staff there that will really work with you. We always say, before you're going to go out there and start searching for your next new house, be armed with an Eagle Mortgage pre-approval letter in your back pocket. And like we say, eaglemortgagecompany.com. All right, Brad, the big news that happened in our world yesterday was the University of Nebraska Board of Regents approved the second design phase for Project Health. That is the $2.2 billion, 2.5 million square foot hospital that will be part UNMC, part Nebraska Medicine. This thing is going to be constructed on the site of the former Monroe Meyer Institute, southeast corner of Saddle Creek Road and Farnham Street. The Regent action yesterday authorizes construction of the actual shell and core of the building. The work amounts to about $1.22 billion of $2.2 billion. The initial design phase approval granted just this past April allowed for site preparation, and they have been doing site preparation there for the last several months with great intensity. Impressive what they've done so far.
Yeah, they've cut down that whole hill. There used to be the nice, gentle hill going up to the Med Center from Saddle Creek and Farnham there, and it's flat as a board now.
Yeah, it's the number of truckloads of dirt that have come out of there is impressive. And so now we have authorization from the regents for work to continue into the actual structure of the building skeleton. From what I understand, though, we're still looking at an early 2030s date before this thing actually will start to have patients, or treat patients, I should say. However, we should start seeing construction go vertical maybe in a couple of years.
Yeah, it's interesting with a project this large, how they kind of phase the construction, the approvals, the design. And, when I first heard the 2030 opening, I was like, well, we'll see construction in a few years. But, they've been going full speed ahead for months now.
And a lot of times these projects that take a long, long time end up going faster than you initially anticipate, not in terms of the actual days and years consumed, but how it feels to you in your mind. For instance, when the Mutual Tower was first announced, I remember thinking late 2026, that's going to be forever. Well, here we are, late 2025. It's already almost to its final height. And, you're almost kind of getting used to seeing another tall building, even though it still has another year before it's done.
Yeah, that project's amazing how fast it's gone. The glass is already halfway up the building. The steel's maybe 7 or 8 floors from the top, and the core's already topped out. So it's impressive to see how fast that's really gone up.
Another example is the Eppley Airfield $1 billion terminal expansion and modernization, which doesn't officially open until 2028. However, much of the concourse has already been built. They're actively building the center pavilion. They even have a few of the entrances and restrooms in there that are final version. So we're actually using some of the new stuff. And by this time next year, we'll be using a lot of the new concourse, even though it'll still have 2 years of construction left.
Yeah, the steel for the central pavilion has been going up for a couple of weeks now. And it was just this week, I think, they opened those 2 new entrances, and those look sharp.
Yeah, they really do look great. In fact, every time I go to the airport, I love to go a little bit early and just kind of walk around and see the progress that they've made. It's so impressive. Well, in other news, R&R Realty Group has broken ground on its 4th warehouse building at R&R Commerce Park South. That's a Class A industrial development really close to 156th and Schramm Road in Papillion. If you're thinking 156th and Schramm, what's that? It's south of the Google data center and north of the Facebook data center. This latest warehouse will be 286,000 square feet, 36-foot high ceilings. The modern stuff you're seeing. Completion is scheduled for right about 1 year from now. R&R Realty Group has already built, about 7 or 8 of these huge warehouses there already, and they keep going and going and going.
Yeah, when you drive south on Highway 50, you look off to the west, and they're impressive buildings out there on the side.
The Omaha Planning Board this week approved a local developer's tax increment financing application to develop a surface parking lot east of 40th and Pacific Street. It's actually a narrow strip of land that abuts the Field Club Trail, so kind of close to the Med Center area. The developer has a 50-year ground lease with the University of Nebraska, in fact, which owns that property. This will be an $11 million project that will consist of 31 townhome units. Construction set to begin yet this fall, with completion planned for February of 2027. Brad, that is yet another in a long, long, long line of urban multifamily residential projects that are infilling that urban core. Even if this might not technically be in the urban core, it's certainly close. There's so many of these projects right now.
Yeah, this is a cool one. I actually laid this one out, so I'm very familiar with the site, and it's kind of a little bit of a challenge. There's next to an old railroad line. Back in the 40s and 50s, the Missouri Pacific ran right through the heart of UNMC, and so the lot is 2 blocks long, but very skinny in the middle. It was tough to get buildings that would fit with all the city regulations, but we got it all worked out, and it's going to be a really neat project when it's done.
So all that time you spent learning how to put puzzles together as a little kid paid off?
Tetris sometimes. I think Tetris is the game when we do some of these apartment projects.
You're a lot younger than I am, so you refer back to Tetris, and I refer back to the cardboard puzzles. So we talk a lot about the missing middle. when we talk about affordable housing, because, we're growing fast, we're building like crazy, but we do have a shortage of affordable housing. Now, what's the definition of affordable housing? It's a complicated thing, but we know we need more of it, and we have a developer who plans to convert a building at 521 South 38th Avenue Street into a fourplex. This is previously was a house, most recently used by UNMC. Then yet another affordable missing middle type project. We have 25th and Grant Street. A local organization plans to build stacked duplex on a vacant 4,800 square foot lot. So these are not big projects. They're little projects, but every one of them, every single unit that we open takes at least a tiny little bite out of our housing shortage.
Yeah, it is a complicated issue, and there's not one way to solve it, but we do have a lot of these smaller lots, just like the last project we talked about, kind of underutilized lots in town that have a lot of great infill possibilities on them.
And if you want to see an example of a lot of great residential infill development, just drive up and down the Leavenworth corridor between downtown and the Med Center. So many projects have opened there recently. Got a few that are under construction right now, and then we have a couple more that are yet to come that we've announced on the show. Very impressive to see the way that corridor is filling in, and I think that's a model for some of those other urban corridors moving forward as we look out over the next 5 to 20 years.
Yeah, and for everything you see, there's several more in the pipeline right now.
Well, speaking of converting projects into housing, this is an interesting one. Came out of the planning board this past week. There is a hotel, if you want to call it that, at 6990 Dodge Street called the Sonesta ES Suites. I say hotel if you want to call it that because it's a bunch of buildings that kind of look like a 1980s condo project.
Yeah, sure
it was one of those old Residence Inns. Mm-hmm. Remember back in the day, the Residence Inns they kind of looked like a suburban condo project, lots of smaller buildings. It's one of those. It's been a Sonesta Suites. It's behind, what is that, Jason's Deli and Office Max.
There's a Panda Express there. And
Panda Express, Raising Cane's. So it's kind of tucked back in there. Been there for a long time. If I remember correctly, I remember that being a hotel, an extended stay hotel, even back in the late 80s. At any rate, there's a plan now to turn that into 80 residential units. 60 of those units would be efficiency units. 20 of them would be 2-bedroom units. And I think this is a great trend. Another way to work with the housing shortage. You've got these hotels that are maybe not as popular as they once were. Shoot, turn them into residential, kind of like what they're doing with the Exarban Suites over just west of College of St. Mary.
Yeah, this will be a great conversion because, like you said, it already had the feel of a suburban kind of condo neighborhood. So I think it'll be a nice fit for the area. Yeah,
it will. And that is your news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. For the next segment, we're going to bring on our still relatively new mayor. Mayor John Ewing Jr. is going to join us for the very first time on the Grow Omaha Show. And we're going to ask the mayor about his thoughts about some economic development issues, things happening in the city that could contribute to growth. So sit back and enjoy our very first conversation with Mayor Ewing. That coming up in just a few moments. You're listening to Grow Omaha. It is brought to you by Cheer Athletics along with Dingman's Collision Center. We got Brad Williams in here for Trenton, and we'll be back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beal sitting next to Brad Williams, who is substituting for Trenton Magid, who has the weekend off. Big thank you to our sponsors. They are Dingman's Collision Center, along with Cheer Athletics, the nation's #1 all-star cheer gym. Well, here on Grow Omaha, we have a long-standing 20-year tradition of regularly talking to the mayor of Omaha about Omaha's growth and development. And we are continuing that tradition with our still relatively new mayor, John Ewing. Good morning, Mayor, and welcome to Grow Omaha for the first time.
Good morning, and thank you.
Well, it's good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you, and congratulations. I know you've been on the job now for several months, but congratulations on the new gig.
Thank you. I'm excited for Omaha and our future as we look at building together.
Well, Mayor, as you know, we are obsessed about the growth and development of Omaha here at Grow Omaha, and we want to just have you start off our conversation today by giving us your 30,000-foot view, your thoughts, your views on Omaha growth and development, where it is now and moving forward.
Sure. So I have 4 major priorities when I look at Omaha, and especially when I look at job growth. I think, number one, we have to retain the companies that we have here in Omaha. So we're always going to do a great job with that. We have to retain and grow our local talent. Number 3 is we have to make sure that we create an environment where the companies that we do have are able to expand here in Omaha. And then the 4th one is attracting new companies to Omaha, making sure people know we're open for business and creating a competitive environment so that we can compete with other states across the country.
Well, speaking of that, I do want to bring up the 2 reports that have been released within the last couple of weeks that raised some eyebrows and caused some alarm. I'll preface that by saying, when you drive around Omaha, all you see is progress, progress, progress in construction, many blockbuster construction projects. Yet reports that came out recently from the Exarban Foundation and the Greater Omaha Chamber said that Omaha is actually losing jobs to competing cities lately. I caught a lot of people by surprise and even me a little bit by surprise. Mayor, what are your thoughts on those 2 reports and what do they mean to you and how much concern do they cause you?
Sure. Well, they didn't catch me by surprise. I had talked to a number of the business leaders in our community prior to becoming mayor as I was going through the election. And one of the things I talked about quite extensively during the campaign is that if we had grown as fast as Des Moines and some of the other Midwest cities, we would have had a significant inflow of income and property tax and also income tax for those workers, about $1.7 billion of payroll. So for me, it's a great concern because I think I look at this from 2 perspectives. I look at it from the perspective of Omaha, Nebraska, but the second part of that is Nebraska. I think we have to grow Omaha, we have to grow Lincoln and some of our other cities as well in order for the economy of Nebraska to be healthy. So it concerned me a great deal. I've been working with some of the business leaders and state senators and other elected officials to try and bring together a coalition so that we can look at what other states are doing and make sure we sharpen our pencils and are more competitive, because we've got to, for instance, with Union Pacific, there's going to be an opportunity to not only keep Union Pacific's headquarters here, but there's also an opportunity to be able to compete for some of the workers that are currently with Norfolk Southern after the merger. So we've got to be willing to compete and let people know Omaha is open for business.
You know, Mayor, those of us at Grow Omaha are big fans of the streetcar project. We want to get your take on, you want to speed up the contribution of the streetcar to affordable housing in the urban core. You want to give our listeners kind of your overall plan of how you're going to do that?
Sure. The biggest thing is the streetcar was designed to have TIF revenue that would go to affordable housing and also bike trails. Approximately $100 million would be available for affordable housing. What we've simply done is worked with a philanthropic partner to buy $40 million worth of bonds to be able to speed that up. If we had not done that, then the affordable housing component of this would have been starting in about 2032 or 2033, and it would have been as revenue came in, so it wouldn't have even been an opportunity to do 40 million at one time. So we sped it up by about 7 years, and the goal would be as development increases, there should be an opportunity to do this again and move the needle on affordable housing now. That's extremely important for our current residents in Omaha, but also that's one of the things that attracts and retains young professionals in the state of Nebraska.
So speaking of the streetcar, how are we doing with timeline and construction, and are we on target?
We've been working very diligently with all of the partners involved, the Omaha Streetcar Authority, MUD, OPPD, and I believe we're on track to be able to open in the fall of 2028. So hopefully by September or October, we'll be cutting the ribbon and riding the streetcar.
I got a few more minutes with Omaha Mayor John Ewing. Mayor, one of the things we wanted to bring up to you now that you're new in your first term is some aesthetics issues. I know you've had some talk about the string of pearls between the airport and downtown, and one of the things that we're big on at Grow Omaha is making sure that the city and the whole metro area look really nice. Sometimes that perception is a really powerful way for us to attract people, tourists, keep talent, etc. What are some of your thoughts on the way the city looks, whether that's design, whether that's weeds in the cracks, whether that's litter? What are some of your thoughts on the way the city looks and the way it should look?
Well, I think one of the things is I agree with you wholeheartedly, especially with the string of pearls. So we're working with one of the foundations to be able to repair those things and looking at restoring that to the original beauty that we had when that started. We're also very committed to some of the things that Omaha by Design has done with creating facades on buildings that are more attractive than just the big box store. So we're going to always be supportive of that. We're also going to be looking to do a much better job with our park maintenance and even looking at capital programs, working with the philanthropic community as well. So we'll hopefully be having more news on that relatively soon. But I think we have to do a great job with those types of amenities in order to make Omaha a beautiful city. We're looking at cities across the country and cities like Oklahoma City that have done a great job with their parks, and we want to have our parks looking the same way and having it be outdoor space that families can enjoy and people when they visit Omaha can enjoy as well. So that's always going to be a big commitment of this administration, and we're working with people to develop those plans now.
You know, while we're on the subject of parks, we've had a few different listeners write us lately asking if there is an update on the big project that's supposed to be happening at Tranquility Park in Northwest Omaha.
We are going to be meeting with some folks next week to actually talk about that particular park. What happened before I got to the mayor's office was there was a budget set for that of about $50 million. The projects came back in terms of what was being proposed at $100 million, and I said that was too much. We had someone bring back a $72 million proposal, which is $22 million over budget. We now have a proposal that's going to be much closer to that $50 million, and we hope to be able to get started with grading here early in November.
Okay, well, great. Well, Mayor, we appreciate that. We know you're real busy and have a lot going on, but we're going to be bugging you several times a year moving forward to get your thoughts on economic development. So hopefully we'll be able to have you back here pretty soon if you're open to it.
I wouldn't say you're bugging me at all. It's important that the people of Omaha know that we are working and we're listening to what they have to say. So thank you for the opportunity.
Well, we appreciate that, Mayor, and we look forward to working with you on economic development and growth and development issues. Thanks for your time today. Have a great weekend.
Thank you for your time. And also, one of the things I'll say to you guys is if you have any thoughts for us, shoot them to us, because we're going to listen and we're going to do everything we can to be great partners.
Well, we appreciate that. And folks, that is the mayor of Omaha, John W. Ewing Jr. We are going to take our middle of the show break for the news. And when we come back, Brad and I are going to share 3 very important business news items with you, big business stories that affect 3 Omaha different companies. You don't want to miss this. You are listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals here, and I am sitting next to Brad Williams from E&A Consulting and the proprietor of Brad Williams Photography. Brad is our most frequent of frequent contributors and substituting for Trenton Magid, who is taking this weekend off. Big thank you to our title sponsors. They are Dingman's Collision Center. They have 4 metro area locations. Best of Omaha Award winner. You will not find a better place to take care of your car in this metro area than Dingman's Collision Center. Our other one is Cheer Athletics, owned by Craig and Tiffany Wolf, good friends of ours, community supporters and business leaders. They have created an amazing experience for youth at Cheer Athletics. The Omaha location is located at Highways 50 and 370 in Papillion. All right, well, it's time for our Noddle Company's Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight of the Week, which is brought to you by Noddle Companies. They are a premier developer headquartered here in Omaha, but Noddle Companies does projects all over the country. Here in Omaha, Noddle Companies is famous for Exarban Village and the Builders District. Cool buildings like the HDR headquarters and the Valmont Global headquarters. And during this segment, we normally will focus on one or more developments or happenings inside a Noddle Company's development or near a Noddle Company's development. Well, we ended up having so much news this week that we're calling an audible. And for today's Noddle Company segment, we're going to give you 3 big business stories that went down this week that have an impact on Omaha businesses or involve Omaha businesses. So that's your Noddle Company's report for today, and here it goes. The first one is a company you may have heard of. It's called Berkshire Hathaway, 7th largest corporation in the United States of America, headquartered here in Omaha. They reached a deal this week to buy Occidental Petroleum's petrochemical unit, OxyChem, $9.7 billion in cash. The deal marks Omaha-based Berkshire's largest since 2022, when it paid $11.6 billion for an insurance company. But this also comes at a time in which Berkshire is sitting on $344 billion in cash. And that is a near record for the company. Berkshire, by the way, already is a major investor in Occidental, holding 28.2% of the company as of the end of June. Right now, Brad, though, when you hear this story, a lot of the national pundits are saying, will this be Warren Buffett's last big deal as CEO? Because he's going to hand the reins over to Greg here in just a couple months.
Yeah, it could be. You never know. He does seem like the Energizer Bunny that just keeps going and going. And can you imagine having that much cash and just decide, what am I going to buy next?
Yeah. Could you imagine a company having $344 billion in cash, and they buy a petrochemical company for just under $10 billion, and it doesn't move the needle?
I know. That's amazing amounts of money.
Crazy. Okay, 2 more business stories for you as part of the Noddle Company's report today. The next one, Rate Gain Travel Technologies, which is based in India, plans to purchase Sojourn for $250 million. Now, Sojourn is based in San Francisco, but they started here in Omaha in 2007, have a lot of people here working for Sojourn in Omaha. And so we'll want to keep our eye on that. But congratulations to all those founders of Sojourn selling for $250 million. Pretty cool for them.
We have a lot of stories in Omaha like this where a company was founded, it grew, got very successful, and then got bought. And it's just another one of the another feather in our cap, I would say.
We certainly hope that Rate Gain Travel Technologies will maintain a presence in our city.
That's definitely the one thing you do worry about these companies leaving. But
And our third company, Brad, is one that has been a part of the city for a very long time. That is FNBO, which used to stand for First National Bank of Omaha. I think they just call themselves FNBO now, but they closed on their acquisition of Country Club Bank of Kansas City. Pretty nice sized bank down there in Kansas City, big market presence. The close occurred earlier this week. This project or this deal was announced in May. The acquisition brings together two privately held family-led banks with deep regional roots. Omaha-based FNBO was founded in 1857. It's one of the nation's largest privately owned banks with more than 100 branch locations, including 10 in Kansas City. Country Club Bank goes back 70 years. Now, by combining with Country Club Bank, First National Bank of Omaha has 30 Kansas City area branch locations.
Yeah, it's a great bank. Been banking there for decades now, and they just continue to grow.
And that is your Noddle Company's commercial real estate development and business spotlight of the week. Thanks to Noddle Companies for making this segment possible. You can find out more at noddlecompanies.com. Going to take our final break of the hour, and when we come back, you know what that means. It's the Perkins Kreitzer Construction Lightning Round. A lot of things in a very short period of time. Stay with us. You're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics. Brad Williams and Jeff Beals will be back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB. It's your Perkins Kreitzer Construction Lightning Round, in which we talk about a lot of things really fast. For the Perkins Kreitzer Construction Lightning Round this week, we've got Brad Williams in here substituting for Trenton Magid, and really not just for the Lightning Round, but for the whole damn show. At any rate, thanks to Perkins Kreitzer Construction for making this possible. They are an outstanding general Class A contractor serving the entire Omaha area and environs deep into Nebraska and Iowa. Perkins Kreitzer Construction has a team of project managers, administrators, supers, carpenters, laborers. They've got it all. Many of these people have more than 30 years of experience in the construction industry. If you're looking for a company to build your next building or to build out a space, look no further than Perkins Kreitzer Construction. Dave Kreitzer and his team are great to work with. I know we certainly enjoy working with them. And you can find out more by going to p-cconstruction.com. That's p-cconstruction.com. Brad, Hero 88 in the old market is going through a massive renovation right now. It's going to take 2 months. Good to see restaurants downtown keeping it fresh.
Yeah, I bet they've been open for, 10, 15 years now? At least 10.
Oh, at least, yeah.
So, good. Probably about time, restaurants are used hard, and probably a good time to update.
You can't, for the next 2 months, you can't do the after theater reverse happy hour thing down there, but they'll be open. We're estimating probably end of November.
And they got 2 other locations if you really want your reverse happy hour.
Yeah, other locations near 178th and Q, and another one near 129th and Maple. Varsity Sports Cafe has new owners.
Yeah.
We don't know who they are, but the existing owners said they've sold it.
Yeah, and they've been around, what did that article say, 20 years?
Or? 30, I think it was. Yeah, in their Facebook post, they said 30. And they have a location in La Vista and another one in Bellevue.
Yeah.
But I can remember Trenton and I used to go to the Varsity Sports Bar that was down in the old market back in the 90s. We loved going to that place.
And our favorite was the one that was in that piano building in Dundee. That was a cool one, too.
Oh, yeah, that building's awesome. Nebraska Brewing Company, sadly, is going out of business. They've been around for a long time, and a lot of people love Nebraska Brewing Company.
At one time, they distributed to 27 different states, 5 different countries, and they had the ability to brew 50,000 barrels of beer a year. I mean, that's a huge brewery, and unfortunately, the craft beer market has really changed since about COVID, and they were a big company, and things kind of changed, and it's too bad to see them go. They had some great beers.
Yeah, and a really cool brewery tap room type place over in La Vista on 108th Street. They haven't given it an exact last date, but it's coming up, and so if you are a Nebraska Brewing Company fan, you might want to stock up and get over there fast.
Great people run. I mean, the Paul and Kim are great people. So
indeed. Well, we got some good news. That is, we have an official opening date for North Italia's first Nebraska location. It is November 19th, so just a little bit before Thanksgiving. The restaurant is under construction in the former Bravo Cucina Italiana space at Village Point. Now, North Italia is a national chain that's actually part of the Cheesecake Factory umbrella of restaurant brands. So I wonder if that means it's going to have a big menu and monstrous portions. And I've never tried North Italia, but people tell me it's good. They have handmade pasta. They have 39 locations currently in 13 states. Most, or rather the closest existing ones, are in Kansas City and Denver. Then, Brad, we said earlier that the Nebraska Brewing Company is going out of business, but here's some good news. Lovely Brewing, a new concept, plans to open in mid-October, 7628 Main Street in downtown Ralston. So breweries come and breweries go.
Yeah, I drove by the other night, and they were hard at work in there working on construction.
I'm looking forward to giving that a try. Well, we reported a while back that a Vietnamese restaurant would be coming into Whispering Ridge Shopping Center near 172nd and West Maple Road. The exact address is 17205 Evans Street, but it's 172nd and Maple. 2,000 square foot space. We now know the name of it. It's going to be called Aroma Pho. I always kind of purposely mispronounce that because if you pronounce it the right way on the radio, sometimes the FCC gets a little bit nervous with you. So let's just call it Aroma Pho.
Bill's hovering over the dump button.
Bill is our producer. Rebel Rise GF Bistro and Bakery will hold a ribbon cutting this coming Tuesday. GF standing for gluten free. It is a gluten-free restaurant and bakery in Rockbrook Village. If you are interested in checking it out, ribbon cutting comes on Tuesday. We do have two closures to mention. Bob and Willie's Wonder Bowl will close its Blackstone location at 37th and Farnham on October 13th. However, good news, the space won't be vacant. It will become Jay's Games and Beer Garden, a new concept featuring beer, patio games, billiards, and big screen TVs. And then the other one, Brad, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is closing its 132nd and Center location.
Yeah, that's too bad. The Hy-Vee that I live, Wall-to-Wall is owned by Hy-Vee, and the Hy-Vee by my house is very limited on size and space, so it was nice having that additional selection out there, and it's too bad to see him go. It's kind of, I wonder how people really feel about the economy right now, because when you have restaurants, coffee shops, and liquor stores and breweries closing, it kind of tells you that there's probably not a lot of extra money floating around right now.
And inflation has been a problem for a lot of years now, and it definitely seems to be having an impact. We don't believe the Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits in Papillion is going to close. Like Brad said, Hy-Vee owned concept. They only have 4 of them total, 3 in Nebraska and 1 in central Iowa. The only one we know for sure that is closing is the one at 132nd and Center. And then last thing, the music's playing, which means we got to hustle up. But congratulations to Omaha-based Flagship Restaurant Group, ranked among the nation's 200 largest multi-concept restaurant owners. They have all sorts of concepts like Blue Sushi, Clio, and others. All right, we're done. That's your Perkins Kreitzer Construction Lightning Round. Brad, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. I always appreciate it.
Brad Williams with us, as he often is, from E&A Consulting and Brad Williams Photography. Trenton will be back next week. Hope everyone has a great weekend. We'll chat with you next week at 9, right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB.